I woke up because I heard someone quietly say my name from the other room. And at first I thought I was still dreaming because it sounded so soft and calm, like someone trying not to wake me up, but I was fully awake and my room was completely dark and silent. I stayed still, listening carefully, expecting to hear it again. But nothing happened for a few seconds, and I almost convinced myself it was just my imagination. Then I heard it again, a little clearer this time, my name spoken in the same calm voice from somewhere deeper in the apartment. I live alone, so there was no reason for anyone to be there. I sat up slowly and looked toward my bedroom door, which I always leave slightly open at night, and I could see the darkness of the hallway beyond it. But nothing moved and nothing changed. I grabbed my phone and checked it, hoping something normal would explain it. But there were no calls and no messages, and everything looked exactly as it should. I got out of bed and walked toward the door, trying to stay calm. But as I got closer, I noticed the door was more closed than before, even though I was sure I had left it open. I pushed it slowly and stepped into the hallway, checking every room, but everything was empty and exactly how I left it. That should have been enough to calm me down, but it wasn't. Because as I stood there, I realized the voice hadn't come from the hallway at all. It came from further inside. I walked toward the living room, feeling more tense with every step. And when I reached the doorway, I saw nothing inside, just the same empty space. I stepped in, trying to convince myself it was nothing, and that's when I heard it again right behind me. My name, this time sounding exactly like my own voice. A few months later, something else happened, and this time it was outside, which somehow made it feel even more real. I was walking home late through a small forest path near my area, a place I've used many times, so I wasn't nervous at all. It was quiet in a normal way, with distant city noise and the sound of leaves under my feet, and everything felt familiar. After a while, I noticed someone standing ahead of me on the path, slightly to the side, like he was letting me pass. As I got closer, I saw it was an older man, someone I felt like I had seen before around the neighborhood. He didn't say anything, he just looked at me and gave a small nod, like a normal greeting. I nodded back and walked past him without thinking much about it. But after a few steps, something felt wrong in a way I couldn't explain. I stopped and turned around to look back at him. The path was completely empty. There was nowhere he could have gone that quickly. No side paths and nowhere to hide. And I stood there for a moment, trying to understand what just happened. I even walked back a little, but there was no one there. I tried to forget about it, but 2 days later, I saw a notice near the entrance to that same path. It was about a man from the area who had passed away. I recognized his face immediately. It was the same man I saw in the forest. Not long after that, something happened while I was sitting in my car near my building. And this one bothered me in a different way because it felt closer and more direct. I was parked with the engine off, just sitting and looking at my phone before going inside, and everything around me was quiet and still. After a moment, I noticed movement in my rearview mirror, like someone walking behind my car. I looked up quickly and then turned around to check through the back window, but there was no one there. I went back to my phone, but after a few seconds, I saw it again in the mirror. A figure moving slowly behind the car. This time I kept watching the mirror more carefully, and I could clearly see the shape of a person walking from one side to the other. When I turned around again, there was nothing behind me. That's when it started to feel wrong. I stayed completely still and looked only at the mirror, and after a moment, the figure appeared again. This time it stopped directly behind my car and didn't move at all. I could see it standing there in the mirror, but I didn't turn around because I didn't want to see nothing again. Instead, I slowly adjusted the mirror upward and the figure disappeared instantly. I sat there for a long time before getting out of the car, and even then, I checked behind me more than once. There was never anyone there. More real stories on my channel.